r/AskReddit asks. What were some ways you made money as a teen? Furiously takes notes. That's me right now. Cutting grass. Oh look. 7 replies down before I found a real response. I stacked people's firewood for days when the time came. Mostly just few laboring jobs people needed an extra hand with. There was a woman who take care of stray cats, more than 100 of them. I used to help her out for money. I also was a tutor for elderly folks, teaching them how to use the web and computers. I worked at a gas station and did yard work. My wife tutored. My brother worked at McDonald's and Walmart. My sister worked at a theme park and American Eagle. Selling moonshine. I shit you not. Good money and small legal repercussions in comparison to selling drugs. A church paid me very generously to be its music director/organist during my teen years. Made a killing mowing my neighbors' yards. I supervise kids while they do their homework. Best job ever. I know this is a stereotype joke now, but when I was 16, 80s, I literally went out driving around asking businesses if they were hiring. My first job was at Rocket Car Wash. I got laid off at the end of that summer and my next job was at Gladio's Highway Restaurant. I went busking, that went actually pretty well for me. I bought about 7 decent guitars in that time, could have done more sensible things with that kind of money, but I'm happy to have the variety I do now, so I can't be too mad at my teenage self. Pressure washed the floors at a local repair shop each weekend. Mowed lawns and sold martial arts supplies to karate students. Sold lemonade, babysat, worked in a grocery store, worked at a fish store, drive my dad places. I was a pooper scooper one summer when I was 16. Not a bad gig. Other than that, I used to work at fireworks stands and Christmas tree lots during those seasons. I'm a type A personality, anxious and damp, obsessive type of person, read, highly organized. People would pay me to organize their debate boxes and lockers. I also offered back-to-school specials where I'd get school supplies and folders ready for a successful year ahead. I made money, but felt guilty about it because I enjoyed it so much. I also worked as a roller skating car hop at Sonic. I worked at a playground to check for kids' safety, then I went straight into the retail business, worst business ever that pay like shit. I couldn't even last there for 3 months. And then I found a job in a mall, I was selling jewelry. After that I quit because school was starting soon. I never worked again since then, smiley face, I'm still in school working towards a degree. My first job, I worked at various hotels as a runner. When there were events, sponsors would have bags of their products that needed to be run up to attendees' rooms. Always enjoyed when there were celebrity golfing events. Met lots of famous people. Built computers for a guy that had a supplier of parts. I think for about 10 years I had touched every computer sold in our county and surrounding counties. I was a teen 30 years ago BTW. Writing articles online for a few dollars per publication, I'm English but American site. Meant I had online money to play with, which I wouldn't have otherwise. Was around 13-14, so a while ago now. I was a very good swimmer, so made enough money during the summer lifeguarding, teaching kids to swim and coaching a swim team so I didn't have to work during the school year. If you are a competent swimmer, find a class to get certified as a lifeguard. In some cases you might find it's offered free by guard management companies, they are always looking for lifeguards. I ran an underground porno selling business. My dad was a huge collector of porn but kept it in trash bags. I also rented to people with no late fees. I used to sell lollipops at school for like 25 cents or 50 cents depending on the size. People loved lollipops and it was so cheap, I always had business. In high school my dad bought me a bale of tobacco, sent it through a paper shredder, ended up filling up the deep freeze with shredded tobacco. Would roll up a 50 to 100 smokes a day, cut the ends with a paper cutter to make them look like regular cigs. Sold them for 50 cents a pop. Ate out every day, bought weed every day, was good times. Working on pot farms, selling pot, making concentrates, house-sitting, grow houses, buying/selling car parts/grow equip/tools/junk off Craigslist, fixing/flipping cars, and fixing tools/equip for people. I went to Walmart and bought cheap candy bars and then sold them on the bus and at school. Everyone thought it was for raising money for something, which it was, for me. Well, I worked at a restaurant and then a movie theater. In the 6 months between those while I was unemployed, if I wanted anything extra, specifically fast food, I would have guys bring it to me in exchange for nudes. 0-10 do not recommend, but I did get a few cucharitos out of it. When I was 12 years old I worked at a farm in the summer. We started at 6 a.m. and worked till 12 p.m. every day on the lily fields. When I was 13 I started a paper round, it was once a week. In the summer I worked on a strawberry field. When I was 14 I took a different paper round, which I did 6 days a week. When I was 16 I became a housekeeping employee in a hotel and I started working in a store in the evenings and weekends when I was 17. I took a job on a whim due to taking a random phone call asking for me to work in customer service starting at $16 base pay. Turns out, not $16/hour, but $16 minimum per appointment that I set, to go to random people's houses and try to sell them way overpriced Cutco kitchen knives. Not easy, direct sales, didn't make much money. I was a waitress. Server in Today Speak. I manned a flea market stall. I ironed the family laundry. Ha ha ha. No one irons anymore. We collected beer and pop bottles and returned them for the deposit. That was pretty lucrative back then. I worked at a cinema for a few hours per week. My job included everything, sometimes working at the cash desk, sometimes selling snacks, checking tickets or cleaning up the cinema after guests have left. I worked at a farm market/grocery store, cleaned rooms at a nearby resort on the weekends, sometimes worked for my father when he did home renovations if he needed the help, later got a job at a packing and shipping shop. Mowing my grandparents' yard, dog sitting for my neighbors. Going to the shops and buying 2-for-1 bottles of Dr. Pepper and selling them in school for a little less than they cost in the vending machine.